Hey guys, it's me, Hannah M, and I don't know what to say. So today I decided that I would talk about things that I cannot fathom, because there are lots of things that I cannot fathom that people actually do and think and say and all this stuff. But first off, do you like the new lens I'm using? Because it kind of gets like a really blurry background, and I've never used this one before, but I kind of like it better. And it's easier because it's a wide angle and it makes me look... So basically, going back to the things that I cannot fathom that people can do or think or any of that stuff. And I think I might make this series called Things That Hannah Does Not Fathom. Cannot fathom. Because honestly, there's so many things in the world that I cannot fathom. How many times have I said fathom so far? Too many, I'll tell you that. So today I was being a good little student and sitting all nice and stuff in French class, paying attention. We had a French guest come in. He actually spoke to us in French, which was kind of cool because they understood it. But anyway, that's not the point. Our teacher decided to bring up Twilight. And by now I had kind of assumed that the topic of Twilight and all that fun stuff had kind of become redundant because the movies have been out for a fair amount of time. The books have been out even longer, obviously. So I just kind of thought that no one really talked about it anymore. But apparently there are people in the world that talk about it and that actually enjoy it, which kind of made me angry-ish. Let's just say that my French teacher was very proud of me today for talking a lot because I had lots of things to say. Basically, there's someone in one of my classes that while I said I hated Twilight because it has a terrible plot and terrible life lessons inside of it, she said she didn't think it was bad and actually enjoyed it, which kind of made me very, very, very confused. And very confused. Just a whole lot of confused. So today, let's flash back to all those many years ago, like the 1 or 2 years ago when Twilight was actually popular. And you know what? Let's actually discuss what's wrong with this series. So to start off, this girl Bella moves into this happy little town, and you know, everything's rainy and dim and gloomy, and everyone seems to fall in love with her purely because it's a small town and they've never really seen a stranger before. And that's why everyone falls in love with her. It's not because of her character traits, her personality, or anything like that, because quite frankly, I don't think she really has a personality. There's an episode of Family Guy where the dog, Brian, just kind of creates a book that's terrible because he thinks it'll be published. Part of me hopes that's what Stephenie Meyer did, but she just doesn't want to admit it. Because then she proceeds to lock eyes with this beautiful, gorgeous guy who's pale and has messy hair and all this stuff that girls fantasize about, I don't know. And she falls in love with him after he takes her out into the woods. After she already thinks he's a vampire. He takes her out into the woods and tells her, like, oh yay, that's so romantic. That doesn't terrify you. She thinks she's a vampire. Oh yeah, sure, I'll go to a secluded place with you where no one will hear me screaming. But then, oh, I guess lucky her, nothing happens. He just casually watches her sleep. I know everyone talks about that, but literally think about that. We all have those moments where we wake up in the middle of the night and hear noise and we all think we're gonna die even though it's just the wind or something. What if you woke up, heard a noise, and it turned out that there was actually someone in your room not doing anything but wasting their freaking life watching you sleep? And then we bring in the topic of the incredibly gorgeous person who, whenever is shortlist, is just kind of amazing, of Jacob the werewolf. But keep in mind that he's not a werewolf all the time, only when he wants to be, because Stephenie Meyer already said F it to all those other mythological stereotypes, so let's just completely change the way we view something that's supposed to be scary and terrifying and romanticize it in the worst way possible. Not to mention that by the time the second book comes around, she becomes so incredibly infatuated with this vegetarian vampire who doesn't eat humans that when he leaves because he wants to protect her, she throws herself off of a cliff after spending months in like an existential depression. Yeah, let's just teach the young girls that are reading these books that you need a guy in order to have a true and proper life. And then Breaking Dawn comes along where they finally get engaged and married and everything's happily ever after until she gets pregnant. For some reason, in some way, that child, let me just tell you, there is no possible way, if he does not have blood running through his veins, that he had a child. So that child is a devil's child. It's a demon. because she wants to be an 18-year-old mother so badly, because that's what every girl's dream is. She decides to let this creature inside of her grow and proceed to basically try and kill her from the inside out, because she thinks it's gonna have its pretty little eyes, his little human eyes, and all that perfect crap. But then it's all wrapped up nice and happy with the baby being born, the werewolf falling in love with the baby once the girl he's originally in love with's heart stops. So he's like, oh, I'm just gonna love your infant. When she gets older, her mom can be like, oh my god, you just made out with him. How was he? It's been a while since I have. Thanks, sweetie. That's not normal. That's a whole lot of not normal. And the book comes to a nice happy conclusion by talking and 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 talking about this war that never comes, because they just kind of hug it out at the end. And that's how life works, doesn't it? So anyway, it is me, Hannah M. That's kind of was a very delayed, very late Twilight rant, but you know what? I didn't realize people still like the book, and these are some reasons why you shouldn't have. Though I want you guys to let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the Twilight saga is, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. And honestly, I don't really have anything to say negative against the author, because she has written The Host. If any of you guys have read that, it's actually a pretty good book. The only issue is Twilight was more popular, so I'm gonna hope that she's actually a good person.